I'm proud of myself for being rude to the waiter. I was 19 when my supervisor Garrett took me to lunch at Chez Laurent, one of those expensive downtown restaurants where entrees cost more than I made in a day. He claimed it was mentorship, but I should have known better. Order whatever you want, he said, scanning the wine list. This is about expanding your horizons. I ordered the cheapest salad. He ordered a $60 steak and wine that cost more than my rent. During the meal, he kept refilling my glass despite my protests. The conversation grew increasingly inappropriate. Questions about my dating life, whether I lived alone. When I tried redirecting to work topics, he leaned closer. You know, he said, his hand landing on my thigh under the table. I could help advance your career significantly, but it requires trust. I froze, paralyzed by confusion about what was happening. That's when our waiter Timothy approached, a young guy who'd been nothing but professional all evening. How is everything tasting? He asked politely. Garrett didn't move his hand. If anything, he squeezed tighter. Everything's perfect, he said with a greasy smile. My assistant here is learning so much. Timothy glanced at me. I must have looked terrified because his expression shifted to concern. Ma'am, can I get you anything else? Before I could answer, Garrett snapped his fingers. We're fine. Check back in 20 minutes. Timothy hesitated, clearly sensing something was wrong, but walked away. Garrett's hand moved higher. This is how business works, he whispered. You help me, I help you. When Timothy returned, I made a decision that surprised even me. Excuse me, I said loudly. This man has been touching me inappropriately. Can you please help me? Garrett's face went white. She's had too much to drink. She's confused. Timothy's jaw clenched. Sir, remove your hands from the lady immediately. This is none of your business, kid, Garrett hissed. Do you know who I am? I don't care who you are, Timothy said firmly. Take your hands off her or I'm calling security. You little piece of shit, Garrett snarled. I'll have you fired. That's when something in me snapped. I stood up abruptly. Timothy, this man put his hands on me without consent and is now threatening you for helping. Please call the police. The restaurant fell silent. Garrett lunged across the table, trying to grab my arm. Timothy stepped between us. Security is already on the way, sir. Within minutes, police arrived. Other diners provided witness statements. As they led Garrett away in handcuffs, he looked back at me with hatred. You'll never work in this city again, he spat. Timothy helped me gather my things. What you did took incredible courage, he said. Most people would have stayed silent. The next week, I was fired. For 3 months, I couldn't find work. Garrett had kept his promise about destroying my career. Then Timothy called. His uncle owned a law practice and needed an assistant. I told him about you, Timothy said, about how you stood up to that predator. I got the job. 2 years later, I started law school. Last month, I passed the bar exam. At my celebration dinner, Timothy, now my boyfriend, raised his glass. To the bravest person I know, he said. I thought about that lunch. How I'd been trained to be polite, to not make scenes, to protect men's feelings even when they were hurting me. I'm proud of myself for being rude to that waiter, I said. It changed everything. Because sometimes the rudest thing you can do is refuse to be a victim.